Hi guys, so today we're going to be diving into macro distribution cheat sheet. This is one of my favorite resources on HOFit, especially if you are new to tracking macros or you're struggling to take a step back and figure out, okay, what do my meals need to look like from a macronutrient compositional standpoint so I know how to make it all work by the end of the day. You may find that you struggle with hitting your protein. So at the end of the day, you're stuck trying to eat 50 grams of protein in the middle of the night. Or maybe you're a little bit more carb heavy, and at the end of the day, you don't have any carbs at night with dinner. And so the macro distribution cheat sheet will really give you just a little bit more of a skeleton throughout your day based on your preferences of meal timing and meal frequency. And then it'll just give you, like I said, a better skeleton to kind of take into your day. So you'll see at the bottom here, we have tabs. Now, if I go over to the furthest left tab, and I apologize that I've got this pop up and I don't know what's going on, but this is for 3 meals. So if you prefer 3 base meals a day, use this sheet. If you prefer 3 base meals and a snack, or 4 base meals and a snack, 5 meals and a snack, 5 meals, 2 snacks, 6 meals, whatever you want, just refer to the tabs down below and you should be good to go. Now, you will also notice that before you dive in, make a copy of this resource. I would prefer you not to edit this one, even if you are going to go back and delete whatever you put in here. I just want to keep this one as is. So make a copy, then you can refer to it whenever you need. So I want to jump over to 4 meals and 1 snack. This is what I personally prefer, but I also feel like it's just a great option for clients who are maybe gearing, their average days are typically 2 meals or 3 meals, and we're trying to increase that meal frequency a little bit. So this is the one I'm going to use. So if you navigate to where it says protein, carbs, and fats, this is where you would put your daily totals recommended to you from HOFit. So say we have 140 grams of protein, maybe we're consuming 60 grams of fat, and maybe let's do 190 carbs. So you'll notice that it pops out some calculations for you. So you'll see to the left, it'll give you your calorie intake, and this should align with what your HOFit coach is giving you. If you plug these macros in, this is simple math. If you remember from the Macros 101, it's 140 grams of protein times 4 calories per gram, and that will give you the total calories from protein alone. If we move over to carbs, it's the same thing, times 4. So 190 grams of carbs times 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates equals however many calories you're consuming from carbohydrates. Fats, if you remember from the Macros 101 sheet, this is where calories get a little bit more dense. So fats have 9 calories per gram. So 9 calories per 60 grams of fat equals your calorie consumption of fats for the day. So when you're looking at that totaled up, it would equal 1860 calories. Now, when we are, kind of dispersing these through our meals, pre and post workout is one that I want you to pay a little bit closer attention to. When we are consuming a pre-workout and post-workout meal, and we also have a resource on meal timing and macro distribution, so I dive a little bit more in depth in that one, but when we're thinking of pre and post-workout food, we want the food that we consume pre-workout and we want the food that we consume post-workout to be easily digestible, so we can break that food down and utilize it for our training session, for energy, for performance, and for the recovery and muscle repair post-workout. So if we're picking foods that are super complex or super hard to digest, or they're super high in fat and super high in fiber and they're lower or slower digesting, we're not going to be able to break down those foods to be able to utilize them for performance and recovery around our training sessions. So my recommendation is to keep fats a little bit lower for your pre and post-workout meal because they are a little bit more calorically dense. They keep you a little bit more satiated. They're a little bit slower digesting. Again, we need quick digesting food that we can break down and utilize for our training session. So those would be the only meals that I would recommend keeping fat a little bit lower. But outside of that, you can really distribute your fats, protein, and carbs wherever you want. This, again, just gives you a skeleton and an inside look on what those meals might be looking like compositionally, macronutrient mince and seed. I don't, you guys know what I'm saying. It just gives you a skeleton to work off of. So meal 1 and meal 2, if you are working out in the morning, this would be pre-workout and post-workout. Those meals would be around 370 calories because they are, again, a little bit lower fat. Protein is pretty evenly distributed throughout here, and then a snack typically might be a little bit lower protein, so we're good to go. Now, does it mean that you have to hit 31.5 grams of protein for every meal to be successful? Absolutely not. But if it gives you a ballpark range of what you need to hit, that is great. So if one meal, say you're at like 25 grams of protein, then the next meal, you know you need to be at 35 grams of protein, and the next meal can be right at 30. So it's just giving you that ballpark range to kind of aim for when you're composing your meals day to day. Fats, it breaks these down a little bit further for you. So 6 grams of fat for pre and post workout meal. Again, just keep it under 10 and you'll be fine. And then that means your higher fat meals need to be in meal 3, 4, and possibly a snack. We could even evenly distribute these and be a-okay. For carbs, we're getting around 760 calories from our carbohydrates. If we are looking to keep high carb meals in pre and post workout, we would have just under 50, which would mean the remainder of your carbohydrates would be fairly evenly distributed across your other meals, which would be around that like 28 to 33 gram mark. So play around with whatever you feel like is best for your days. If you prefer 5 meals a day, you're welcome to plug and play here, 5 meals and 2 snacks. If you want 6 meals a day, whatever is going to work best for you and your schedule. I just love that this resource kind of gives you that breakdown in case you are confused about anything and just need a skeleton to work off of. The last thing that I'm going to show you here, and I kind of messed this up, I noticed right before I started this video. So this will be ready when you guys are ready to go. If you are tracking alcohol calories, you will likely notice that if you are looking at like a seltzer or something like that, it'll say 100 calories, but then when you flip it over, it'll say 2 grams of carbs. Well, we know that math, 2 grams of carbs times 4 calories per gram, that doesn't equal 100 calories. So where are those other calories coming from? It is from your 4th macronutrient, which is alcohol. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram. In order to track, because, tracking calories is great, but like we need to then substitute either in the form of carbohydrates or fats to make up for our macro allotments that we have. So say if, a drink has 100 grams of calories, we're going to fix this. So this should like auto calculate for you. So just give me a second. Once you're actually in the sheet, it should be fine. So knowing that carbs are 4 grams of, knowing that carbs are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. Are you following me? And then fats, we know that fats are 9 calories per gram. So let's do some simple math. It would be 100 divided by 4 calories per gram, right? So if you were wanting to include a seltzer in your day, that would equal 25 grams of carbs. Because we can't track alcohol, because alcohol is just calories, but it's not like a carb or a fat. And we don't necessarily allot you guys like alcohol, like macros throughout the week or anything like that. You then have to convert it into either carbs or fats. I hope that's making sense. So you can track that seltzer as either 25 grams of carbs or 100 calories divided by 9 calories per gram, or you can track it as 11.1 grams of fat. So say if you, in your current macros, you have like 200 grams of carbs to work with. If you know you're going to be drinking 2 or 3 seltzers, you would go ahead and pre-log those as either fat macros or carb macros, just depending on where your macro split is at and what you would prefer to give on if you are going to be drinking alcohol, excuse me. So hopefully that makes sense. These will be good to go once you're in here. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all, and I look forward to hearing some feedback on how you guys like this macro distribution cheat sheet.